This is surreal for me to be surrounded by all of you beautiful people and these books, so thank you for having me. I thought it would be nice for me to read a piece of mine that I've worked over the years that has been rejected, that has been revived, and that actually turned out to be a great speech for something like this. And the reason that I wanted to read this is because so many of us, and especially for the young women in this audience, saying yes and saying no are a part of life, and hearing yes and hearing no are a part of life. And sometimes you will not have anything more to say, and you're going to feel very spent. And I wanted to kind of talk to you today about what happens when you have no more words. Each time I sit down to write, that rectangle of paper, that blank new document stares at me. My first string of words sits atop an abandoned tower, little windows of the story that I want to tell. Each time I begin, I'm as lost as ever, as if I've never done this before. And for all of the words that are stirring inside me, I'm still awed that there is a limitless landscape to write. Like many of you, I've been writing and dreaming up my novel for years. And for me, it's taken 7 long years of writing, revising, and selling the first book, revising the manuscript, and now, finally, having it published. You see, as I ready myself for this year, there's still so much work to do. There are the everyday dramas and the major life traumas collided into this one space that I loved, writing a book. This was something I had dreamed of as a young child. I wrote and bound handmade books for classmates in 2nd grade. These stories and poems were gifts to better understand myself and all of the worlds that I belong to. As I lay out the vision for my novel, I wondered, what if I have no more words left? Any question that starts with what if is trouble. You know this. You don't know a thing until you try. Yet sometimes the feeling of, I can't do this anymore, I'm over it, it's not happening anyway, it's so real that we have to face it. What you are writing is a gift. It is a collection of all of the energy, the love affairs, the relationships, the friendships, characters, and strange moments you've acquired over the course of your life. Moments of serendipity and some real discipline make novels happen. Serendipity is when you uncover the perfect character flaw or historical research that cinches together your novel's core. And discipline is simply having the strength to put in the hours and hours of work. Sometimes there's one story that lets you in, but some are more challenging and require patience and lots of daydreaming to reveal themselves. I need intense solitude when I write, which is the opposite of who I am. It's the opposite of my nature. And sometimes doing the opposite of our nature is exactly what we need to do to let the words in. My favorite writer, the most important writer in English, is Miss Toni Morrison, and she had some important words for her students, which she shared in a recent conversation with Junot Diaz. I know you've heard all your life, write what you know. I'm here to tell you, you don't know nothing, so don't write about what you know, write about something else. When you devote yourself to an art form, you embrace a life of risk, of being hated, of being completely ignored and forgotten. You may be the first one in your family to be an artist, to go to college, to come out, to speak your truth. And that aloneness, which later in your life you may see as a rite of passage, it's scary as hell. You may not be welcomed by folks you thought were your friends. You may break up with someone you love with all of your being, and you may face violent confrontation or disapproval from your parents. You will start to feel as if this was all a huge mistake. And this might last a week, a month, or even years. When you embark on your writing, you are creating a brand new world. You are creating something that has never existed. You will start to think about your characters 24/7 until you cannot help but write their stories down. Give yourself a moment to consider that this is an immense task. It's okay to worry about being selfish, and it's okay to give yourself permission to keep on going. I've been lucky to know many women like all of you, emerging young novelists, playwrights, journalists. And I spent a decade as a teaching artist and a community organizer with teenagers all over the city. These raw, soul-stirring wordsmiths yielded their life's trials and triumphs with fearless wit onto the page and the stage. They embraced style and music and art and good old drama just like any teenager. You know, that's what books are made out of. As their teacher, my job was to listen, read, and direct their passion into a glittering bonfire alight with stories and possibility. When I say they faced life's trials, many of them survived terrors we are often told to keep secret, to be silenced about. They braved abuse in many forms: bullying, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, assault, cutting, depression. Each time they tried to heal one wound, another wound would reveal itself. And I, as their teacher, shared these wounds when I was in high school. When I moved on to college, I embraced the anger I felt against sexism and powerful structures that oppressed people. As I got older, that anger smoldered into an inner turmoil, which I carried in secret. My students and I learned to understand something about the nature of secrets. Writing and performing embolden us to speak our secrets to life. We come to understand that secretiveness cloaks us in shame and guilt. It becomes impenetrable, a fortress which gives us a false sense of strength. But what's really happening is shame hardening into silence. What we're left with in the pit of our stomach is a feeling of silent worthlessness. I'm not enough. This is all stupid. This will never happen. This place where I find myself feeling worthless is the very place we need to examine when we write. It is the place that cuts me off from my imagination. It cuts me off from my sense of wonder. It is the place where I feel unafraid, crazy, unloved, and alone. It is the place where I have no more words left. Writing can teach us to be vulnerable with words, with our spirit, with our imagination. And it has allowed me to understand universal human experiences, as well as science, mythology, religion, music, botany, history. Because again, this is the stuff from which novels are made. Look for stories embedded in every interaction, each sign when you cross the street, for every relationship in your life. Welcome new sensations and everyday things. Bear witness to pattern, shape, color, smells, sounds, all of the feels, and everything that is unspoken. Take in the silence of the trees, the sun, and the stars. Whenever life is good and you're feeling lucky, be grateful and revel in it. Let others know that you love them. Connect with other writers, other women, and artists, and let them connect to each other. Never worry about what's in it for you. Just by being with these fellow wild ones, you are helping them on their own rugged journey, and yours too. That is enough. There is always a dark underbelly, and a novelist and any writer is a mediator between the light and the dark, hope and despair, past, present, and future. When you start to question, what am I doing with my life? Or when life's hardship feels too rough, take a moment to sit still in that silence. Tell yourself, the reason I'm doing this is because it's what I want to be doing. Listen closer and you may realize it's what you need to do, and that these visions are your small, imperfect, life-affirming gift to our world. Each and every day will take you to task. Each and every day will be hard work. That tiny voice inside that doubts you is afraid and will never, ever go away, but it will keep you honest, I promise. It will keep you looking out when all you want to do is hide and look in. Listen to this voice above all others. It is where you go when you have no more words left. Thank you.